Here's how to write the inverse of a function. Recall the steps that we have to follow. The first step is to replace f of x with y. Remember that f of x is just a fancy name for y. They mean basically the same thing. Our second step is we're going to switch x and y. Step 3, solve the equation for y. And step 4, replace y with this funny looking notation that looks like f to the negative 1 power times x, but it's actually the notation that means the inverse of f of x. Let's take a look at a couple examples. Find the inverse of f of x equals 4x minus 12. So for our first step, we want to replace f of x with y. So let's write this as y equals 4x minus 12. Now we're going to switch x and y. So instead of y equals, I'll have x equals 4 times y minus 12. Now I need to solve this equation for y. In other words, isolate y, get it all by itself on one side of the equal sign. To do that, I'll start by adding 12 to both sides. And that gives me x plus 12 equals 4y. And now divide both sides of the equation by 4. And x over 4 is the same as 1/4 x, plus 12 divided by 4 is 3, equals y. And let's flip that around the equal sign so it looks like it's in slope-intercept form. Y equals 1/4 x plus 3. And then my last step is to write it in function notation and use my notation that looks like f to the negative 1 power of x, but it's actually the inverse of f of x, equals 1/4 x plus 3. Let's take a look at a second example. And this one isn't written in function notation. It's actually an equation of a line written in standard form. So we need to find the inverse of 3x plus 4y equals 12. Well, we can just skip to, since we don't have an f of x in this, we can skip to our second step, which says switch x and y. So instead of 3x, I'll write 3y plus 4x equals 12. And now I need to solve this for y. I need it to look like slope-intercept form. So subtracting 4x from both sides, I have 3y equals negative 4x plus 12. And now divide everything by 3. I have y equals negative 4/3 x plus 4. And let's write it in our function notation. The inverse of f of x is equal to negative 4/3 x plus 4.